Okay, in order to do this, we had to change our filming angle. That way, we could hit the timer at the same time we drop the quarter of sugar in. There will be a slight delay in between the two, and I will then pick up the camera. So I've dropped the quarter of the teaspoon in the boiling water. You can see the sugar granules at the bottom of the cold. You can see them at the bottom. Versus a few left in the boiling. A bunch are left in the cold. We're going to come from the top. You can see them at the bottom. Versus, oh, my camera got a little seam there. We're going to see. That is just condensation. Versus you can clearly see the sugar granules at the bottom. So we're going to stop it. And we're going to say that in test number 1, the boiling water dissolved them in 1 minute. We're going to see how long it takes for all of the sugar to dissolve in the cold. We are at 2 minutes. And to show you on camera that there's still sugar in here, I'm going to take a small knife and you can see that it's still cutting through the sugar granules, so we're trying not to stir them, but show you, see the line, that there are still sugar crystals down there. Again, here's that boiling where you see nothing, see no line. So we are still waiting for the cold to dissolve all the crystals. It is almost done though. So now our timer is at 4 minutes and almost 30 seconds. I just did a scratch test at the bottom. And without trying to stir, you can still see that line is forming ever so slightly at the bottom. There are not a whole lot of crystals left. We're still waiting for the cold water to dissolve the rest of the crystals from the sugar. It is slowly getting there. Obviously there is still nothing, nor should there be, at the bottom of the boiling cup of water. So now we are checking in again. We are almost at 7 minutes. Let's do our scratch test. We can still see some of that is down there. Okay. So we are going to stop this because it is slowly dissolving. But we are going to say that it is going to be more than 7.5 minutes for test number 1. So we're going to pause it to make test number 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have test number 1 completed. Boiling water dissolved the sugar in approximately 1 minute. The cold water was almost dissolved at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So now we are retesting to confirm our results. I'm refilling this. To half a cup. I need to change your viewing angle and get 1/4 of a teaspoon of sugar. In each of my areas. Since I am doing this on the weekend, you are getting to hear my daughter. So I'm going to start the timer, even though that's going to change our I tried to shake it similarly to how I did it the first test. Again, I push that out of the way. There's the hot water. Almost completely dissolved already, it appears. You can see all those sugar granules now at the bottom. You can see them. Now maybe our timer is a little off. I don't want that to get smoky. I do not see anything moving. And we are at 50 seconds. So I'm going to write that on here. Okay. Versus, if you're not seeing the granules as much, remember there's that scratch test. You can physically see the line, right? See? Those are the particles of sugar moving around. And you can see the grains on the bottom still being there. So we are at 1 minute and 45 seconds. I'm going to pause. And then we will resume once the timer gets higher. We are resuming at 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Again, nothing in the hot glass. You see no crystals moving. Stray dog hair. Here's the cold glass. Watch closely. You can see that line is still forming. See, I'm moving the crystals. See, it was just stuck to the end of my, not a ton, but they are there. So we are going to say at this point that it is more than, if we give it another 5 seconds, more than 8 minutes. Because we can still see those grains moving. So now we got 50 seconds for test 2, and we can officially say 8 minutes plus. So this concludes our sugar dissolving without motion in both cold and boiling water.